I need everybody to mute their phones now, no talking, because it's going to pick up everything. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to Decision Point Ministry. We're so thankful to partner with the C.E.E.L organization to have you here this evening in person, and also for those that are joining online. I want to share a couple of things with those that are here that may be here for the first time. There are restrooms upstairs and downstairs. There's also water fountains that are available there in case you have need. We're thankful for this area that we're in, and thankful for this evening's gathering. Each time before we have the forum, I try to share a little bit of something that's unrelated maybe to the candidates, and unrelated maybe directly to the even the election itself. And this evening I just want to share a brief word with us just about the fact that parenting is a community affair. Parenting is not just something that's done in the isolation of a four-wall building, but we all play a part. We all use that term, it takes a village to raise a child. And there are multiple things by which I hope informs our prayer this evening, even, that will speak to current situations. And as much as school is out now and the summer break has begun, kids in some cases are having to be unsupervised because the parents are working and the kids are home. But if some of you are old enough like me, you will remember that people on the street were able to keep watch over you just as well as other family members did. And then there's also the notion of understanding of church. We're actually in a church building right now, and I know in these times, in this season, church is very different. People are choosing other priorities versus church school and discipleship training and going to temple, whatever faith group we choose to connect with. People are choosing different things. But brothers and sisters, I want to challenge us as a community this evening to begin to prioritize again, making sure that we are involved. One of the greatest examples that we can have is when children get to see their parents, their aunts and uncles, their grandparents worshiping God, hearing from God, speaking about the Word of God. It's real important for that to be a part of the essence of our community standards. And we've gotten away from that now. And so even to the point of it impacting churches. I'm a part of several pastoral groups, and most of the conversation now is about how do you keep the lights on in 2026. This year alone, 15,000 churches will close. Let me let that sink in. We hear about how corporations are adjusting, how people are adjusting to corporate layoffs. But one of the mainstays for holding communities together is church, is temple, is synagogue. And it's so important for us to begin to prioritize again our time of worship and our time with God. So when we pray, it's not just a routine, it's not just an agenda item. It's out of a relationship with what I say around here at Decision Point, the God of all of everything, who is able to do anything. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to pray. Father, we just thank you so much for this evening. We thank you for this place that you provide. We don't take it for granted. We don't take the freedom of expression for granted. We don't take the fact of these buildings and grounds for granted. We don't take the fact of having the resources to operate for granted. So, Father, I pray for each one. I pray for each family. I pray even for this electoral process that we're engaging upon. Some are saying the yellow lights are flashing. Some are saying the red lights are flashing, indicating that authoritarianism is really beginning to show itself. But Father, I lift up this great experiment of democracy. And I pray that even we as citizens, even down to the local level, the county level, state level, we will recognize just how fragile things are and how important it is for us to operate in, to leave the legacy of, and to pass on to our children the good things that we've been able to enjoy. We thank you. We pray your blessings upon this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Sister Demeter Chapman, C.E.E.L organization.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you so much. First, I want to thank the pastor for allowing us to have this. And then I want to thank the residents that showed up tonight. Let me set some ground rules that citizens for excellent and elected leaders follow. First of all, I need all phones on mute. No applauding, no clapping. I want to thank you guys for obeying me that says no campaign shirts and buttons and stuff, so I want to thank you for that. Let me say this, this is a serious matter that we got now. First day of election is this Saturday. We're coming down to the wire. I see and I read, but it don't matter. I'm gonna always be fair and have integrity. Now I'm gonna say how I feel. I'm gonna say that. And if I step on your toes, I'm sorry, but I'm always gonna be truthful. And what C.E.E.L does, I don't care if nobody comes to this church but the candidate. Because I have three audiences. I have the ones that's in the church, and I want to thank you for coming. I have the ones that's online that's going to watch. And I also have the ones that's going to go back and watch. And so I'm not looking to be the show and tell. I just want the platform to be heard. And so sometimes people say, oh, don't nobody pay attention. Oh, they pay attention because I looked at some views this morning and 60,000 people have read a post that I put out. So they pay attention. And so this thing is real. We have to make sure that we get it right. I want to thank my moderator, Mr. Pastor Joe Flint. I left his badge, his name tag. I hope that everybody know him. And I want to thank this candidate for coming, Ms. Sojourner. Let me say this, and I'm going to make it clear. I don't play games. I sent the email out May 18th. And I said, whoever the candidates be that goes into the runoff, we will have a debate, not a forum, a debate, June 2nd. And she was the only candidate that responded, if I win, Mrs. Chapman, I will be there. I sent an email out last night, just a reminder, because see, I know how a tail can go all the way to Mississippi and come on back. So the other candidate responded sometime in the middle of the night because I'm in the bed early, and she declined. That's okay. That's not surprising to me, but we're gonna move on. So we're gonna turn it over to Joe Flint, and this is how we're gonna do it this time. Since it's only her, we're gonna hear from her, Sojourner. And if anybody from the floor want to ask questions, I will give you a card. And when you ask that question, you're only going to use the card that I give you because my label is on that card. And if you can't use no other cards that you bring in. We've been down that road before. I keep it honest and keep it fair. So, Sojourner, this is your time. And so I want you to relax. I have the questions, and so I'm going to give this to, come here, Mayor, tell it for me, please, because if I'm being, I can't get it back. I'm going to give the questions to my moderator, and we usually have a timer. She's not gonna be on the timer tonight. She's only one. And so we just gonna let it flow and let God do what he gonna do, if he gonna do, and I believe he gonna do. And so thank you so much, Joe. I'm gonna give you these questions. You don't have to, go down all of them. You can pick one out of that, and then we just gonna let her, tell her story, and she's the only one on the stage tonight. So again, thank you, Mr. Sojourner, for taking the call. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this one-on-one, the lovely fireside chat that President FDR started some years ago with Ms. Sojourner, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing his last name right. It's Grimmett. Look at me. Public education works, I'm telling you. So we thank Sojourner Grimmett for being here with us this evening. I am your moderator this evening, Joe Flint. And it will be my pleasure to learn more, and for all of the citizens of the city of South Fulton to learn more about you and what you represent and who you want to represent and how you will represent them in the days, weeks, and months to come. So we'll open the floor with just allowing you to introduce yourself and tell us about who you are, why you are running.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you to our hosts, to Pastor, to our moderator, for hosting tonight's event. I really appreciate it. And it's great to see familiar faces in the audience. So thank you so much for just coming out. It was raining earlier, so I'm glad that the rain let up. It's great to see you all. My name is Sojourner Marable Grimmett, and I am running for Fulton County Commissioner District 5. Should I sit or stand? Can everyone see me okay? Either way? Okay, great. And I am excited about running for this seat. I am passionate about people and have been serving in this community for over 25 years. My husband, Roland, and I have 2 sons. We have a nearly 19-year-old Roland, who is a rising sophomore at Tuskegee University. And we have a 16-year-old who just got his driver's license, and he's a good driver. And he is a rising junior at Westlake High School. And so we raised our kids for 14 years off Fairburn Road in Campbellton in Settles Landing, if y'all are familiar with that townhome community. And then about 8 years ago, we moved over to the Westlake area. And so my background is in a number of different areas. I'll start with, I went to undergrad at Clark, that's where I met Roland. And then I went to grad school at Penn State and came back for love. And so I worked in higher education. He said I didn't have a timer, brother. I worked in higher education for the Savannah College of Art and Design, in which I helped really develop the SCAD Atlanta campus. There were 25 of us who relocated from Savannah to Atlanta to help start that campus. I then went on to working in various institutions, Morehouse being one of them, which I loved. And then I went to work in Fulton County government. I worked for the chairman of Fulton County, John Eves, for a number of years. And I served as his director of constituent services. And that's the work that I love, being out and about and engaging in the community. I will move very quickly here. I then went on to work in affordable senior housing, national church residences, and I was in senior housing during COVID. So y'all picture where you were during COVID. Folks were afraid to go outside, right? But I had to go and make sure that thousands of seniors were taken care of in their high rises. And so the hats that I wore working in nonprofit were marketing, communications, and philanthropy. And so those are the hats that I wore, and I wrote a $1 million grant in which seniors were able to get meals delivered directly to their doors. I then went on to work in healthcare for Peach State Health Plan and served as the Vice President of Marketing and Communications. I moved all the way up the ladder. And I and my team managed a large budget, multi-million-dollar budget, in which we were responsible for Medicaid, Medicare, and making sure that our Medicaid members have value-added benefits. And so that is lengthy because I didn't have a ticker, but that's my background. I think it's important to know my background so you're not looking at a name on a flyer or on the side of the road saying, who's Sojourner? Well, that's my background and that's who I am. So glad to be here.
Thank you so much for that background information, Sojourner. Tell me this, we see it all the time. Generally, people don't even know what the county commissioner does. What is it that the county commissioner, what's the purpose of the county commission? And how will you make this role yours?
Thank you for that. So Fulton County District 5, I think it's good to just highlight how large this district is and welcome to the folks who just came. This district includes 200,000 people. So how many of you live in Fulton County District 5? Nearly all of us that are in the room?
That's right.
Some of us may live in 4, right? Or 6. But the majority of you live in Fulton County District 5. And so District 5 consists of 8 cities. Southwest Atlanta, all the way down to Chattahoochee Hills. And the largest city being the one that we're in right now, city of South Fulton, with about 115,000 people. And so the Board of Commissioners, it's a body of 7 people. You've got a chairperson, and then you have 6 commissioners. And so I would be representing District 5, South Fulton County. So the Board of Commissioners do a number of things. They make rules and decisions for the county. They oversee the county budget, and this is a huge budget we're talking about. We're not talking about chump change. We're talking about $1.5 billion. And they decide on how that money is spent. And it's spent on health and human services. So who's taking care of your libraries? Who's taking care of the courts? Who's taking care of the jail? Who's taking care of the senior centers? Well, that's health and human services. And so that's what the commissioners take care of and represent.
Thank you so much. I'm going to just jump into the questions here, if you're all right with that. I want to start with health and social services. I'd like to know how is the county supporting mental health addiction services, and how will you further that support?
And so good news that the county is focused on mental and behavioral health. And so I know, having talked to all of the commissioners and the current chairperson, that is a big concern, and it is a big concern of mine too. I don't know if we're in Mental Health Awareness Month. Either it's past or we're in it now.
It was May.
It was May.
This is Men's Month.
This is Men's Month. Okay. So I know that we are in Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's important, right, that people take care of their mental health and that dollars are spent in those areas. You're seeing a lot in our youth. And so the good news is the county is providing funding there. I would say that additional funding could be provided, and also additional information sharing could be provided as well, so folks know about the resources that the county provides and that they can utilize.
Thank you so much. Transparency is something that we lack in government everywhere. How can you ensure that the constituents will know that you're being transparent in all the decisions that are being made, not only for District 5, but for all of Fulton County?
That's great. So transparency. Sure, I shared with you all my background, right? Is in communications, is in community outreach and engagement. And so what I enjoy doing is this. I really enjoy door knocking, Jenny, believe it or not. I love door knocking. But I love being in front of people, engaging with people, and being at town halls such as this and sharing, information sharing. And so I will be open with you. I will have newsletters, town halls, live forums. And so that's how we make sure that you are abreast and aware of what's going on in our district. I think the communications department does a wonderful job with information sharing, but sometimes folks may not check their email. So that's why town halls and face-to-face interaction is so important.
Thank you so very much. There is talk that Grady is planning to build a new hospital in the Union City area in the future. Because District 5 is such a large district, are there any chances of another hospital being planned in the next 5 years?
Well, right now, you all, some of you may have been at the groundbreaking nearly a year ago, and then the recent ribbon cutting of the first phase of the hospital. So how many of you are familiar that Union City is going to have a hospital within about 5 years? Yeah, so we are excited about that, and I'm a yes for that. I am a yes for healthcare. I mentioned that my background is also in healthcare. I don't think we have enough hospitals. I don't think we are still in a healthcare desert. And so if we can partner with, for example, Morehouse School of Medicine, we continue partnerships with Grady, it would be wonderful to expand healthcare access throughout South Fulton County and not just in the Union City area, but grateful that we have it and that it will be developed.
Thank you so very much. We hear a lot of talk about affordable housing. What is affordable housing? And how is the county addressing its affordable housing shortage?
So affordable housing, I mentioned earlier too, that that's also a piece of my background. I worked in affordable housing during COVID for 5 years. So it is wonderful development in which folks can afford, right? And so when you think about affordable housing, oftentimes you think about high rises for seniors or for families, but for affordable housing can look so different now. And so I advocated for affordable housing funding at the Fulton County Board of Commission meeting a couple of months ago when it was on the chopping block. There was a partnership with the city of Atlanta, and I got up to the mic, everyone can give 2 minutes public comment, and advocated that they do fund a particular either project or various projects, and it was approved not just with my funding, with my advocacy, but others as well. So affordable housing is wonderful because people can stay in the area in which they love and call home, and they can still get their food, right? Get medication, all the things that they need. And so I am for mixed use housing. So people don't have to leave their home, but can live and thrive there. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much. What are your top budget priorities for the next fiscal year?
So top budget, when you think about the county, you think about spending, the budget's 1.5 million. What comes to mind is the jail, right? The jail is a large part of our budget, and also the court system is a large part of our budget. And so it's 47% of our budget. And so I focus on making sure that our courts have the funding that they need to process things quickly, making sure that our jail is being fixed because it's inhabitable. And so we need to make sure that our jail is fixed. I know that they did, the board approve another facility to be on the same site, but that's top of mind. And then health and human services, so that healthcare that we were talking about, the hospital, that's top of mind. So jail, hospital, and affordable housing.
Can you, I'm picturing the Rice, what they call Rice Street jail. You said they were talking about putting another facility on that property. Where?
Well, it's been approved by the Board of Commissions to, and I'm looking at faces, yes, to have another facility on that site. And that facility will have a lot of healthcare services, mental health services. But I am not ever a proponent of the jail, folks going to jail. I'm a proponent of deterring people from going to jail. So we do have a wonderful diversion center as well. And so it is, instead of going to jail for misdemeanors, what about people going to the diversion center rather than to the jail? And that's doable and possible. And I'm looking at folks, my amen corner over here.
What is your plan for addressing traffic congestion and road maintenance? Let me tell you, it took me forever to get here. And it takes me forever to go anywhere in Atlanta. If you miss your exit in Atlanta, that's another 30 minutes in the metro area.
Yes.
what are, if any, proposals do you have, or do you know what the commission is doing to improve our road infrastructure? We're building new buildings every single day. I pass those all day, but the only thing that I see is that they're putting a turn lane to go to the buildings, but I don't see any true road infrastructure.
And so infrastructure and economic development is 14% of the budget. And so there is funding to take care of those things. Fulton County is responsible for sewer. And so we need to make sure as we grow and develop that sewer is available to all those who come here. I am a advocate for being a partner, and I promote I'm a collaborative leader, a communicator, and I would communicate with various municipalities to talk about how we can not have you go 30 minutes, 2 miles, takes 30 minutes, right? So it's working with neighboring cities, it's working with various departments, department heads, leaders to figure that out. But I think it's a lot for everyone.
We see, I try my best not to watch the news, but if you have social media, everything is being posted there. We see there's such influx of crime throughout the metro area. What are your priorities for law enforcement and emergency services?
And so the good news is we are opening a hospital in South Fulton, right? So it's going to open, I think, even June 1st or June 1st, what is today? Y'all, I've been knocking on doors. June 3rd, soon it's going to open. And so they will have beds there that folks can go get seen and then fly out if they need to. And so that was the first part of your question, was health care. And then law enforcement, I am an advocate and a supporter of law enforcement. I believe in community policing. Now, we don't have a huge police force at the county. There's only a small portion of Fulton Industrial that is still unincorporated. But it again is working with various partners to make sure that crime is taken care of. But it's not just that, it's also making sure that our youth have programs, right? That they have an outlet. Rather than hanging out, they have things that they can do.
Thank you so much. How do you plan to elevate new development projects and their impact on residents? How do you plan to get residents to back you and back the projects that are taking place?
And so we have a wonderful department at Fulton County Government called Select Fulton. And so they would be the ones that will highlight various projects and also bring in various companies. And so I would work with partners like Select Fulton to do so.
Got you. What investments are being made in public transportation or alternative transit? Let me ask, or let me just preface this. I grew up in Atlanta. I am a grade baby and Washington High graduated, just so y'all know, going all pride. But I rode MARTA every day, going to and from school. I loved it. I didn't like the bus, but I liked the train. I like riding the train. And a big issue is that our transit system doesn't go everywhere. The buses, you know, they stretch, but our transit system doesn't go anywhere. How much planning or oversight does the Fulton County Commission have into the public transportation and the alternatives in Atlanta?
You know, so commissioners on the board also serve on the MARTA board. And so they have a seat at the table in which they can advocate for MARTA expansion. They can also reach out to and hold town halls, like I mentioned earlier, and hear from constituents. Are you interested in MARTA expansion? We could do it now by a show of hand. How many of you want MARTA to come out here? Real. So the brother said it needs to go everywhere. Yes. And so look, so that's more than half of the room said yes to MARTA expansion. But there's a lot to getting there. But having an advocate such as myself who also agrees would just get us closer to making that a reality. But it's a lot to do behind the scenes. advocacy.
There was some talk some time ago, years ago, I remember, that certain counties didn't want Martin to come there because they were concerned about crime. And so the thought process that somebody's going to ride the train and the bus to wherever they go and rob the store or rob their house, go back on the train and the bus with the television or whatever it is that they were going to take. So that needs to be expanded more. I have a myriad of questions to ask you, but I want you to get your agenda out. Tell us about what it is that you want us to know concerning what Ms. Sojourner, of course, I'm trying not to say truth,
You
but it's what do you want us to know about you and about how you plan to make District 5 represented in the county?
I really appreciate that. I am a lover of people. If you've met me, I've probably hugged you, either before or after our conversation. I have been in this community serving for over 25 years. And so I'm deeply passionate about not just serving, but making sure that folks who live in South Fulton County have the resources that they need. And that's what I've done in affordable housing. That's what I've done in healthcare. That's what I've done in education. And that's what I did in local government. And so fun fact, I'm the only candidate who's worked for Fulton County government. And so I know Fulton County. I know the folks who work in Fulton County. When I go down to the Board of Commissioners meetings, I'm doing the same thing. Like I hugged y'all, I'm hugging them as well. And so I want you to know that I am passionate about people. So when you see Sojourner, brother, to your point, think about the truth. Think about a community advocate and leader who cares deeply about people and who oftentimes, if not all the time, puts you first before me. That's what I've done my entire life. And so this is an important time because you have someone as myself who's running for elected office who deeply cares about people and in doing the right thing. And that is serving people and providing resources because God knows we need them in South Fulton County. And so what we talked about earlier, right? We need affordable housing. We need healthcare access. We don't talk enough about food insecurity. Folks are hungry, children are hungry. And so I'm a collaborator, communicator, and connector, and that's the work that I've done in order to get resources to people who need it. And so if you can't tell, I am excited about this opportunity. And I'm ready to go.
In the Army, when we were marching, we would say stuff like fired up, ready to go. That's it. How will you be able to be the change that District 5 needs, that the commission needs? We see, and I hate to bring this up, but we see South Fulton City Council is always biting at each other. Sometimes the commissioners are biting at each other. How will you be the change? How will you be the leader that the county commission needs?
So I've been a people leader for a very, very long time. Right? I know how to work with different personalities. Right? For all those, how many of you have been people leaders? Even if you've managed 1%, you're a people leader, right? And so I'm able to work with various personalities. And again, I worked at Fulton County, so I know the folks who are on the Board of Commission. And I've sat down with them face to face, just like this. I've even had coffee with some of them and a meal, shared a meal. And these are Democrats and Republicans, right? Because the board is mixed. And so I am the person who is able to go in and lead and advocate, and also communicate and bridge folks together.
Let me ask this. What is the difference? What are you mentioned bridge. You're on this side, the other candidate is on that side. What makes you different from the other candidate?
So I don't know the other candidate well. I don't. I just know myself well. And so I can only just tell you over and over again who I am, and hopefully you will believe me that I'm a servant leader. This is what I'm called to do. Where's Pastor? right? So this is my calling. My calling is to serve. This is the work that I've done my entire career. When I was 18 at Clark, I was walking down, serving at the YMCA, right? So this is my why I'm on this planet. To share more about my background, my mom grew up in Monroe, Georgia. How many of you familiar with Conyers, Monroe?
Walton County.
Fulton County. My mom grew up in Monroe, so what got me into the work of service is my mom's story. My mom's name is Hazel Lynn Harris, and if you're watching my videos, knocking on doors or putting signs together, or waving at different locations, my mom's usually always with me. And so the reason why I'm passionate and focused on serving underserved communities is because my mom came from a very underserved community. My mom grew up on a dirt road. She had an outhouse until she was in 9th grade, and then they moved into Section 8 housing in 9th grade. That's the first time she had indoor plumbing. And so my mom is the reason why I do this work. And so I'm very passionate about it, and my mom was able to succeed and go on to college and go on to grad school. And so why not us? Why not folks who are in South Fulton County? And so that's some of the work that I do. Where I work now is making sure that low-income students, Black, brown, white, have scholarship and opportunities, and we provide them with scholarship and opportunities to go to college debt-free. And so I am passionate about this, and this is what I do for my job as well.
Thank you so very much. Definitely gonna have to talk. My family's from Walton County.
We could be related.
Absolutely. When it comes to cybersecurity, this is something that is talked about every day now, with the elections, with just personal information. Do you know what cybersecurity measures are in place to protect county data?
You know, I know the county spent a lot of money on cybersecurity, making sure that they wouldn't get attacked, because I don't want to misquote, but I think there maybe was an incident a couple of years ago in which, I don't know if it was a ransom, something happened. And so we made sure, we made sure that we did have the infrastructure in place so that wouldn't happen again. That's what I do know.
Community feedback. How important is community feedback when making a decision on the commission?
It is vitally important. I mean, I am here to serve to serve you all, right? And so having these forums, having open communication, I'd love to have an open door policy if I can at the county, where maybe on Wednesdays from certain time, folks can come in and meet with me, Wednesdays, so maybe Thursdays, thinking about when the meetings are. And so feedback is so important. I went to grad school at Penn State and I studied media studies, but I also studied ethnography. Have you all heard about ethnography? No. So ethnography is the study of people. And so my graduate thesis was on the Cincinnati uprising that happened in early 2000, in which 15 Black men were killed by police officers. And I lived in Over the Rhine community. Anyone from Cincinnati or Ohio? And so I lived and studied in Over the Rhine. And so what I did for my thesis was I interviewed 100 people who were living in Over the Rhine. This was not gentrified yet. I weighed about 115 pounds on the corner. So you can just picture, right? Just visualize, okay? And so what I did is I went up to folks and I asked them what was happening during the time of that uprising. And then based on that feedback, themes bubble up. So sound familiar what you could do in communities. You go engage. Same thing with door knocking. Same thing with hosting events. Themes bubble up, and then you realize the concerns of the community. But it's being open to conversations and hosting forums such as this. So I'm people-centered and people-focused.
And staying with that, how will you help prepare residents for future economic opportunities?
And so the Fulton County has over 40 departments. That's a lot. That's a lot of department heads. But again, it's hosting town halls and it's bringing those people from downtown to you all. So you can meet and see the folks who are leading these divisions or people on their team who are leading these divisions. It's also, having a newsletter for updates. It's doing FGTV. They have different shows, so it's maybe hosting a show, bringing different department heads on that show, and making sure that people are aware of what's going on.
You mentioned earlier, and we know this is a big need, that of healthcare and hospitals, but what are any other needs that you can think of that District 5 is missing?
And so we talked about affordable housing, we talked about healthcare, we talked about food insecurity, and we talked a little bit more about mental and behavioral health. I also think that there may be a gap in helping our youth. And so I've been just trying to figure that out in my mind. We have a wonderful youth advisory program at the county, Fulton County. There's a program there for youth council. But it is, I think, a partnership that needs to be stronger with the school system. And so I'm already working in the schools, but it's making sure that our youth are taken care of and that they have resources that they need. And it's going back to mental and behavioral health services and making sure that they have and know that those resources are available to them.
Let's talk a little more about that. How does the county truly support the school system? Is it only supporting Fulton County schools? Is it supporting Atlanta public schools? Who does the county support when it comes to the schools?
That I need to do more research on. But I am open to learning more about the relationship that we have with schools and strengthening those relationships.
Absolutely. I remember as a child growing up in Atlanta, Camp Best Friends. Do they even exist? Does anybody know?
They still do. My boys were in Camp Best Friends.
I learned how to swim from Camp Best Friends.
At MLK.
That's right. That's right. How is the county addressing the crime trends? I know we kind of dealt with crime earlier, but how is the county addressing it? Or what do you see the county doing, and what do you believe that you can do to ensure that crime is at a lower rate than what we are already seeing?
I can, at the county level, I can advocate for funding to go to various programming and also nonprofits. The county gives a lot of money. I don't want to misquote it, but it's in the millions, if not $53 million, to various nonprofit organizations. And so we want to make sure that our youth are taken care of in that funding, and so that they have resources available to them, but also they have activities for them. I know I'm focused on, my heart is for youth, but my heart is for everyone. But that's something that has just been raised frequently that I've been out and about in the community.
Well, I think it would be a fair statement to say we should be concerned about our youth because we are getting younger. I know I'm 29 really, but that's
Plus 20.
I don't know if I really care for you anymore.
Hey, I'll tell my age, I'm 47.
Plus, I'll just continue to celebrate my 29th birthday.
Okay, happy birthday.
We were talking about youth. What initiatives are in place to expand our parks and conservation areas?
And so I'm an advocate for green space. And so that's another thing that we've got to talk about. But it's working with municipalities, cities, right? So it's Fulton County, but there are 15 cities in Fulton County. There are 8 cities in South Fulton County. And so I think what's important is for folks to know that I'm an advocate for green space and leaving spaces green so people can go outdoors. So everything isn't cement.
So there's no question, if you're from the metro area or if you've lived here for more than 10 years, you see that there's a great divide, north of I-20 and south of I-20. The county is responsible for north and south of I-20. How can you ensure that we have the same resources on both sides of 20?
Sure. So it's again being an advocate. I've been an advocate for South Fulton County for over 20 years. I've lived in this space. I've done community work here. So I'm already doing this work. And so now it's having a seat at the table and continuing that advocacy to get things done. And it's being a collaborative leader and partner to get this work done. And it is doable. I've seen it in affordable housing. I've seen it in healthcare. I've seen it in all these spaces. It can be done. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this opportunity, because I know I can get it done because I've done it over these years.
Fantastic. What is your position on large-scale developments such as warehouses and data centers and high-density housing?
So I think it's good to always pause on the data centers. I know it's a hot topic. There's a lot going on. There's also sometimes misinformation. And so while a lot of the cities have to deal with data centers, I'm always good on pausing on data centers being developed until we learn more about how it impacts the environment. But I'm also a proponent of them being in almost, is it nodes or certain areas in cities, so they're not spread out all over the place. You can drive by a data center and not know that it's there. And so I think it's important that they are in the same area.
I could be wrong on this number, but I was reading the other day something about there are like 70+ million baby boomers. And in the next 5 or 6 years, that number is going to decrease. So what are we doing to ensure that our seniors, I know we were talking a lot about our youth, but what are we doing to ensure that our seniors can age well and that they have the resources they need? Both, I'm blessed to still have both my maternal and paternal grandmother. That's good, I'm 29. But I'm blessed to have both of them. Both live in senior, if you will, high rises, not assisted, but just in senior high rises. And one of the conversations that I have with them all the time is how their Social Security is based, or their rent is based on their Social Security. But the county, is providing other resources. But how can we ensure that they have more resources as they age gracefully?
And so I know that there are homestead exemptions that are available. And so, again, it's the communication piece and making sure that our seniors know that this is available to them. I want our seniors to age wherever they want to. I don't want our seniors being displaced from anywhere. And so it's making sure that they have the information available so they know what they can do, right? And so that and they can make the best choice for themselves.
I think it's very important, especially when you find yourself parenting a parent. Mm-hmm. So it's very important to ensure that they have the resources that are needed. When it comes to the community, I know you talked a lot about community engagement. What is the best way for residents to stay involved in the county decisions?
I think it's coming down to public comment. The 2 minutes that you have to come down, you can come as often as you want. You can even give minutes to other folks, right? And so it is advocating for your community, coming down to public comment, and also scheduling a meeting with your commissioner or your council person. You're welcome to do that as well. And it's even stopping folks in the grocery store. I'm looking at a councilwoman in the audience. But right, so we are in the community, and that's the beauty about being a local politician, is that you are in the community that you serve, work, play, live in. And so I believe I answered your question.
Let me ask you this question. I battle with this within myself, if ever running for office. The politics has a way of creating cliques. And how do you stay true to what you ran on and not be pulled into the politics when you are once elected?
Sure. So I think it's always good to take your time and assess things. I understand this question. I'm not part of a clique, so that may help. But I'm not in a pack, I'm not in a clique. I'm someone who's passionate about service and serving people, and that's why I'm doing this work. And that's why I'm running for elected office. And so it's how I was raised, integrity. right? And so, I can, I can be honest in saying that, again, I am here for people and for serving you. And that's why I'm doing this. It is not easy to be sitting here. It's not easy to knock on a door, thousands of doors. But I'm doing this because I'm passionate about serving you all and about being an advocate for South Fulton County, because I know, and I'm prayerful that you all will trust me in this role. Because it's the work that I've done my entire career.
How committed are you to public access? So we mentioned earlier about the 2-minute comments. Is that really enough time for the public to express their concerns? And not only that, but open records requests and things of that nature. How committed are you to those things?
Very committed. I mean, my background's in communication, so I think you should be an open book. There's nothing to hide. This is taxpayer dollars. This is your money. So you've got to see what's happening with your money.
Too easy, huh?
Right?
What investments are being made in public? We talked about public transportation. What other investments are the county currently throwing money at, or what do you see that the county can put more focus and emphasis on?
And so, again, we talked about this earlier. So it's the jail, it's our courts, it's our buildings. The county owns a ton of real estate. And so that's very expensive to keep up with all of the different real estate. And also, we talked a little bit about sewer as well and infrastructure. And so those are some of the things for investment.
Let's talk about sewer, if you don't mind. So I know this was not recently we had so much rain. We had a lot of rain that messed with the highways, that people couldn't even get down the highways. And so I know we talked about sewer, but how much is the county responsible for ensuring, although most of that was downtown Atlanta, but Atlanta is Fulton County. So how much sewage is the county responsible for making sure that that's not a thing that continues to happen? Because we flood a lot in Atlanta, and what people don't realize, and I know that you're not just Atlanta or that you represent all of Fulton County, but Atlanta sits on a hill, so everything coming from South Georgia is actually inclining. So I don't understand how we are flooding. So what is the county doing about the flooding that we're facing?
I think many of you may have seen TikTok. Is anyone on TikTok here or Instagram? It would look devastating what was happening. They had to help a woman get off the top of her car. So while I don't know where I know it was in Atlanta, I'm not sure where, but I do know that the county spends millions of dollars on infrastructure. And so I can only imagine that we'll continue to do so. We need to assess. I'm not in that department. I'd have to meet with the department head and learn more about that area. But I know it's a big part of our budget.
So it's a concern for me, but I'm sure for every citizen that lives in Fulton County, just to see those types of images, people being stuck in water and knowing that sewage is an issue. Let me ask you this. We talked about education earlier, and as a representative of the commission, how do you see yourself representing or providing more resources to the school systems? I know that you said that we're not quite sure how much the county supports, but how do you see yourself supporting the systems?
I see myself as an advocate for the school system. My boys were in APS schools. They were in Fulton County schools. We still have a rising junior who's in a Fulton County school. I also have been fortunate to have endorsements from Francesca Warren, who is our school board member in the district, and also Jessica Johnson, who is APS school board. And so I already have those connections with those two wonderful leaders. And so sitting with them, listening to what they've gone through and their roles and the needs and resources that they need, if you will, and assisting them that way.
Believe it or not, Sojourner, our hour is already about to expire. And so rather than, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do we answer questions from the audience?
That's what we've been doing.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, I want to make sure.
So in that time, I don't want to limit you, right? So again, I know I've been asking you questions, but I want you to just tell us more about what can the people of District 5, what can the people of Fulton County expect from you as a leader, on the commission?
Thank you for that. Thank y'all again for coming out this evening. I think I'm gonna get up. Can I get up, Ms. Jackie?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. I am excited. I absolutely love people and love service. And this is an opportunity for voters to decide on who they want to represent them on the Fulton County Board of Commission. And so I would ask you to think about me. Think about a community advocate. Think about a leader. Think about someone who cares deeply about people, and think about someone who has a track record of service nearly her entire life. That's me. And so I'm always going to put people first. It's always people over politics for me. I've been running this race for nearly a year now. I started in May, and it's been a little bit over a year. We've knocked on thousands of doors. We've had so many events throughout the county. And what I hear most from people is that they want a leader that cares deeply about them and that puts them first. And that's me. I'm going to host meetings like this. I'm going to be accessible for you. You can stop me in a grocery store, right? You can talk to me at a baseball game. And so I am going to be that leader for you that you're hoping for. And so I just ask that you have faith and hope in the political system, because sometimes it's a little windy, right? But I believe, and I'm excited about this opportunity. What you saw from the race in May is that 57% of people want something new. 57% out of the 4 folks who ran, 57% want something new. And so I am hopeful that that new is me, and that you would learn more about me if you don't know me already. But I think I know all y'all in this room.
Where can we find more information about you?
Thank you for that, alley-oop. So you can find more information about me on my website at electsojourner.com. We're also hosting a meet and greet on the 6th. And so if you're on Instagram, on social, we'll have more of that information there. So we can really sit down together and chat and chew and talk more.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We have just had the opportunity to chat. I didn't do any chewing, though. With Sojourner Grimmett here, and we've had the pleasure of getting to know more about her plans for District 5 in the County Commission. Listen, you know that this race is inevitable. You know it's important, and you know what's about to happen, but it only can happen if you get out to vote. Earlier today, I was wearing a t-shirt that had get out to vote, and I had a lot of people to stop me and say, I didn't know we were voting again. I'm always amazed at how many people don't pay attention to what's happening. So please, please pay close attention to the upcoming elections, the runoff, and then of course what we have taking place in November in the general election. So Sojourner, thank you so very much. Is there any 2-minute stump speech you want to give? I know you just gave something, but is there anything else you want to share with us before we turn it back over to our host?
Thank you. Thank you to the hosts again, to Pastor, moderator, and thank you for all of you all for coming out. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to hugging you afterwards.
Thank you so very much. We'll turn it back over to Mita Chapman, Chair, President, CEO, and everything you can think of. See.
Leave it alone, leave it alone. Let me say, I want to thank Sojourner for taking the call. And just thank you. Let me say this. I know folks is not really used to a forum like this, but I try to have them candidates to be relaxed, nothing staged, comments or questions targeted at certain candidates. And so when they come in here, and anyone that has been under a formal interview with me, I try to be fair with the candidates. Again, I don't play politics with folk. What I will tell you is this election is very important. The election is so important that anybody that lives in the city of South Fulton, and we've been a city now for going on 9 years. You can't sugarcoat or sweep what has taken place in the 9 years. And so it's not to put one person down and put the other person up, but I am a believer that when you have 7 people under one umbrella and one mayor, that's 8, you got a head and you got a tail. And if the head ain't right, the tail definitely sometime gonna have to go. It's 7 districts, 1 mayor, 1 body. 1 body, you guys. When we were fighting for cityhood, and we're here now. I don't care what happened when we were fighting for cityhood. I want to address what's taking place now. I see some folks in the audience that fought for cityhood. And we're gonna have to hold folks accountable. If grandmama wrong, grandmama wrong. Grandma can be saying, oh, you wrong. And so we got to do what's right by the people. Sojourner, I know that in the past, and I've been watching, and I'm gonna say it, and anybody can say whatever they wanna say, I said it. In the past, when you go to forums, you come out of the forum and you see cross another candidate chest or breast that they're the winner. We don't have no winners here. Every candidate that's running is a winner because it takes courage to do what these candidates do. And why I say it take courage, because they got to put up with me criticizing them. That's why I take courage. And Sojourner, I don't believe in, so if you get elected, I don't know who's gonna be elected, but if you get elected, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna hold you accountable. And I said it once and I say it again, when it comes to my tax dollars, I don't like none of them. And that's how we should think. So make sure that you do the right thing. I read on a post, and I had to agree with this community leader. I said, and then they get mad with me. I'm getting tired of folks getting pimped out for collard greens and chicken. Give them some chicken and collard greens, and they'll vote that way. I'm getting tired. We can't talk about the man in the White House when we act like the man in the White House. The only difference, we just black folks in the city of South Fulton. But sometimes we act worse than him. We have to stop and do what's right. So make sure early voting starts this Saturday. When you go to vote, you don't vote for the person that looks good. Don't vote for the person that gave you the collard greens, turkeys, and chicken. And I'm not that into a candidate. That's, everybody giving that out. You make sure you do what's right in your heart, because with every decision we make on June 16th, we got to live with that. It ain't no turning around. We got to live, 2 years or 4 years? I don't know. 4 years. So what I'm going to tell you guys, I'll be going, let me say this to Sojourner. I told you guys when you went into the runoff that we were not going to endorse any candidate until after the primaries and we go in the runoff. I'm going to be going in prayer who I will be endorsing. And it ain't about the meter chairman, it's about the people now. Because one thing about the meter chairman, I love you. Even when you say I can't talk good, I still love you. I'm gonna always do what's right by the people. And to me, the chairman sleep well at night. So we're gonna be going in some prayer, what we're gonna be doing, and we're gonna be going from there. But what I will tell you guys, know before you go. Know what's on your ballot. Know when to vote. Just know before you go. I have a forum on Thursday, which is the commissioner's forum. And Friday night is usually my date night. But since the election is so important, I'm going Facebook Live at 7 o'clock. And ain't nothing gonna be left on the table. So if y'all ready, whatever you need to do Friday afternoon, you get ready. Because I've been charged and I'm on a mission and I'm gonna do what I've been charged to do. Like it? Don't like it, I'ma still love you. But the story got to be told because see, sometimes we take half of a story and don't tell all the story. But I got the history. I can wake up in the middle of the night and give you all the history. So I'm gonna tell the truth Friday night. And so if that affects anybody, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna tell the truth. So again, I want to thank all you guys for coming. I want to thank the man of this house for allowing me to come. I mean, I just thank him. I want to thank my moderator for coming. Most of all, I want to thank the constituents for taking your time out. I want to thank Sojourner, but most of all, when it's all said and done, I want to thank the man of my house. I want to thank my backbone. And one thing about it, Miss Glenda, when I get out of trouble, when I get out of line, he gonna say to me, you shouldn't have said that. You think before you write. And sometimes, Miss Glenda, when I'm on the couch, he said, you're awfully quiet over there, what you doing? I see that phone. So I'm glad I got somebody that's gonna check me. Because the meter can get wrong, but I try not to be wrong. And so again, I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to thank the councilwoman for being here. I want to thank the community leaders, but most of all, I want to thank the constituent. And again, Sojourner, I don't care if nobody else is in here with me and you, in the camera, and my moderator, in the pastor. That's all that matters. Because see, you'll have a show and tell ain't worth nothing. And I'm gonna leave that like that. I see Pastor gonna say, what you gonna say to me? That I said, so I'm gonna leave it like that. So again, thank you guys so much for coming.
Sojourner, we're gonna take some pictures, and this is not an endorsement picture. I'll make my mind up between the night.
It's over with. It's over with.
Let's go. Come on.